All right, so Paragon. So Paragon is a web-based application. For years and years and years, you bought software, right? And you downloaded it to your computer, you installed it, and you had to maintain it, get updates for it. More and more applications are going into the cloud. They're hosted on the manufacturers, the developers, servers, and you use a browser to get to that application. In the case of Paragon, the compatible browsers are Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Edge. Use any of those, you'll be great. If you're still using Internet Explorer, I'd advise you to start just using Paragon with one of these four. Internet Explorer is also being sunsetted and will no longer be supported after June of next year. And also some tips here when it comes to browsers. If you ever encounter anything that's a little bit wonky with Paragon, something's not working right, a field just won't take any data and text, oftentimes it's the browser's cache. In tech support, we often just tell the member to clear their caching cookies in the browser, and that resolves the issue about 99% of the time. So a little tip there. And FYI, we're doing a remodel here. We're a bit under construction. So if you do hear a bit of background noises, my apologies. We've got a contractor wrapping up here in the next few minutes, and so my apologies there. So getting to Paragon, we recommend bookmarking this website, wvmls.paragonrels.com. Just bookmarking that one, or you can even create a home screen shortcut on your desktop to make it really easy for you to get to. And then in a pinch, you can go to our website, wvmls.com, and in the lower left corner, there's the Black Knight Paragon login icon there, and you can click on that and that'll get you in as well. All right, so the goals for today's training. I want you, by the end of this class, you're going to be able to power search, quick search, criteria search, a basic map search, navigate using Paragon's multitasking feature. You're going to love this capability. And email text listings out of Paragon, and turn a listing or a spreadsheet of listings into a PDF so that you could save documentation. And then I'm also going to give you a high-level overview of the available reports that you can use. So let's talk a little bit about Paragon Homepage. When you log in each and every day into Paragon, it automatically launches you into the homepage screen. And that homepage screen is made up of 4 areas. Top has the power search field, has a button for MLS documents, place to compose an email if you would like to use Paragon as an email client. It's got a help, a log out, and main menu buttons. And along the left side, I call it the left panel, is the quick search widget, Paragon News, and the message center widget. You'll primarily be using this quick search widget. We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. Paragon News, the developer of Paragon, Black Knight, provides some useful information there about, say, an update that was just done. And message center is we, the MLS, can message you there. We tend to refrain from using it unless it's some really important stuff. And we'll use that message center, and that will create a pop-up. If we do use it, it creates a pop-up when you log in and you see that important message right away. There's a center panel, which we call the Wvmls homepage. That is ours. We have a blog there and all this useful information I'll show you in that center section. And then along the right panel is the market monitor, your contact activity widget, and a calendar widget. If you don't use a calendar today in your iPhone or your Outlook or your Gmail calendar, you can use a calendar here within Paragon. And Paragon is super customizable. You can actually rearrange some of these windows to kind of, meet your workflow requirements. So let me, what I do is I like to present off this slide and then I bounce on over to Paragon and show you. So here is the base Paragon screen. This is the default one. You can actually pretty this up if you want to under preferences. You can, a lot of the members are got the Halloween theme going on, and as Christmas approaches, you can change it to the Christmas theme, whatever you like. Because some of you are client facing and working with clients and may have your laptop up while you got this, that's kind of nice to have where you can customize the screen to be a little cheery and into the holidays. So along the top section here is all the various options that you can launch in Paragon. Home gets you back to home, of course. This is homes. You got search, listings, CMA, your contacts, your financials, tax information. Look up members, other resources and preferences. You got your power search, MLS documents. If you need, for example, any listing forms, they're here under MLS documents. Click here and open this folder up and you can see the residential and the bare land, commercial listing forms. You can post an email. There's a great help tool. When you go about any kind of self-paced learning, this help is fantastic. Paragon has a complete library of how-tos on any aspect of Paragon here. So if you needed to know how to use search in greater detail, you can click here and do how-tos. And then they got a whole training video section here as well. So that's the top section. And then the quick search is over here, the Paragon news section, and the message center. And in the middle is the Wvmls home screen. This is information provided by us. You can view in here, but I like to expand it with this little button right here and go full view on it. And we have under Wvmls, if you need an area boundaries map, the bylaws and rules, a list of Wvmls members. We have third-party links, DocuSign and ListHub and OREA if you need to look up an agent in OREA, super login, tax records, FEMA, school links, zip form. And then if we need to do any maintenance with you or troubleshooting regarding an issue, we have AnyDesk here, and our tech support would require you to click here. Wvmls classes, so you can click here and that launches you into our class calendar. Market reviews, stats, broker tours, residential sold comp form, listing maintenance, everything and anything on pre's. We have a whole FAQ on it there. You can also join our pre-blast email here to get on a list and get pre's emailed to you, and a contact us section. And then down here is our blog. I post in this every day or two, information, tips and tricks, so on and so forth. And you can see the library of them here by clicking on a tab. You want all the tips and tricks, click on tips and tricks. But I just put up this blog a few days ago. This is that broker best practices in cybersecurity and broker safety. So that link I gave you in the chat will go here. And I got the agenda and the bios on all the guest speakers. And then on the right is the contact activity widget, the market monitor, and the calendar. All great features. If you start using Collaboration Center, this is one of the main widgets that you'll go to see if any of your clients have responded to listings, made comments, what they're liking, what they're not liking. All that activity shows up here. And then Market Monitor. If you want to see what's going on in the market, new listings, expired, any price changes, and you could do that for your info, your office, if you're part of a firm or a team. That information is all listed here in the Market Monitor. And then a calendar feature here as well. So I'll open it up to any questions about the home screen. No questions? Okay. So let's talk about power searching. So the power search is really akin to a Google search. It is probably one of the more powerful search features, and it's super easy to use. If you know the MLS number that you're wanting to see, or multiple MLS numbers, a broker name, you have an address, just type it in there and it will just find anything and everything within the database. Now, if you put in an MLS number, it's going to pull up a agent full detail. So let's go take a look at that. So power search is along the top here. And if I was given an MLS number, I can look that up here. I have one to search on. And it will pull up and see one listing, shows one listing. And I can click on that. I'm going to point out something here. As you are working in Paragon, each time you do a new task or use a module within Paragon, it opens up a brand new tab. Notice how I have a power search tab. Earlier, I went to MLS documents, and it's a tab for that. And here's my home tab. I'm going to click on power search. So you don't need to, what's great about it is if you got a lot of things going on, you could literally have tabs running across here, not too dissimilar from, the tabs I have open here in Chrome. So it pulls up an agent full detail. An agent full detail, for everyone's knowledge, if you don't know this, is for your eyes only. Reason for that is this private remarks confidential data block here. It's highlighted in red. Red means only for you. This is not to be printed out, or saved as a PDF and provided to the client. Okay. So I'm going to cancel out this power search, and I just want to demonstrate if I had two MLS numbers I wanted to look at, I could separate them by a comma, no spaces, MLS number, comma, MLS number. And you'll notice how it pulls up the two listings. I can click on either one of these and pull up that agent full detail, or I can click on listing 2 and it will bring up both those listings. And now when you have more than one listing to look at, Paragon defaults to a spreadsheet view. Just like an Excel spreadsheet, it's just a spreadsheet here with photo, MLS numbers, the status of the home, class, type, address, price, city, acres, the basic information in a spreadsheet report. Okay. If let's say I'm looking up, and I have the first name of an agent, right? Let's just say Debbie. I didn't get the last name, but I know she's a Wvmls member. I can type in Debbie, for example, and it'll show any listing. It shows anything with a Debbie in it, just like what Google does, right? But here's a member list of Debbies, and you were like, oh yeah, it was Young. And then you can click on Debbie Young and it will pull up that member's information. And you can, grab their email address, shows what brokerage you're part of. Here's their cell number. So it has all the information you need to get in touch with them. So you can use power search for that. So, or let's just say I've got an address and I just want to pull it up here. I got 32300 in Valley. And I can pull up any listing, past and current, as it pertains to 32300 Hidden Valley. So that's power searching. Thoughts on power searching? Questions on power searching? And for those of you that are late joining class, I've given you the ability to ask questions verbally. You can either use the chat or Q&A, but if you do want to ask a question, use the raise hand feature, and I'd be happy to answer it for you. All right, so that covers power search. Let's talk about quick searching. So quick searching is that widget off to the left-hand side of the home screen. And if you know the address, for example, that you're interested in and want to see all the listings it's had, this is a great tool to use if you got a client that's come to you, they're considering listing their home with you, and you just want to double check before you go through all this effort with them that make sure that home, for example, is not listed with somebody else. You can use the quick search for this functionality, and it will pull up all, present or past times that that home was listed. Also, I like to use quick search. Let's just say you live in a region that has a big subdevelopment that's really popular. You get phone calls all the time. Are there any homes available in the Pioneer subdivision? You can actually you can do a quick search, or you can even load a previous quick search. You can actually create one, save it for that development. And so when somebody calls, and you could just turn around and quickly load your Pioneer subdivision quick search, and it'll quickly tell you if there's any available listings in that development. So I got a question. How do you find power search? I didn't see that. Oh, you found it. Okay, great. So with quick searching, you just type in an address number, into the number field, and type the first 3 letters of the street name and click search. We highly suggest less is more when it comes to quick searching. Paragon searches are very literal. Sometimes you'll miss it. If you've been given a partial address, is literally put in the partial address, and Paragon will find anything that has that number or street name in it. So let's jump over to quick searching here. So quick searching is back on home. I'm going to click my home tab, or I can click on home here. And by the way, I didn't show you, I talked to you about Paragon being customizable. Any of these widgets are movable. Just click on them in the top bar, and you can actually reorder things to suit your workflow. If you wanted to put quick search on the right, you can do that if you want to. So quick searching, it's just, let's just say I'm going to put in 1015 Oak. And if I put in 1015 Oak, let's just say I got a client that said, hey, I saw this house and it was in Silverton, and I know it was 1015 Oak. I don't know if it was a street or a drive. And you're like, okay, that's fine. We can find that. So, it was 1015 and it was Oak, and you don't know if it was a street or drive, but, it was in Silverton, and you can type in Silverton. And it didn't take it. And I can get a count. Just click on count, and I've got 322 that were found. So I'm going to run with this just to show you. I'm going to click search, and it's going to pull up the familiar spreadsheet view of any listing, current and past or terminated, that has 1015 Oak in it in Silverton. But my client said there wasn't a for sale, a sold sign on that home. That there was a sign up, but so it's either active or active under contract, pending. So what I like to do is just click on at the top of any of these columns, you can resort. And I'm going to sort on status. And it's like, oh, there it is. There's the home that they must be talking about. It's on Oak Street, unit number 67, and it's under contract. So that's how I would use quick search in that kind of application. Let's go back to quick search again, and I can clear that. I talked to you earlier about how you can create saved quick searches, and that's done here. You could save any search. I've got some preloaded saved searches. Here's one here, Silver Cliff Estates. I can click on that, and it puts in, and that's that development over there in Silverton. So somebody comes to me and says, hey, it ain't going on Silver Cliffs. Let me find out for you. I can go into my save searches, click on it. It already loads Oak Street, Silverton, and the status of active. And it found 3. And I can click on search, and I go, there's 3 homes available, and talk to them about the price range on those 3 homes and what might work for them. And then the other thing about quick searching is these are some default fields such as status, class, zip, city, street type. Acres is actually one that I've added in there, and how you would add a field in. Acres is a good example if you live in an area that, you know, people are looking for acreage quite often with their homes. You can click on this little gear icon here. And this is the case, you can customize almost any spreadsheet and report in Paragon. And this window that you're seeing now will be the same kind of window for each one of those. And it'll pop up, and you'll have selected fields on the right. This is the fields that are currently in that widget. Search by map, address, city, status, class, zip, acres. But if I need to add anything else, I take it from the available fields. So right now I got class residential. I'm in residential. You could change it to bare land, lease. We'll stay residential. But let's just say I need beds. I can click on beds and add it to the right. I can even move it around and put it wherever I want. And if I turn around and apply, it's going to apply it. And now I have beds as an option in my quick search. So it's super easy to add fields that help you in your workflow. Use that quick search widget to your best advantage. Any questions on quick searching? All right. We're going to jump on over to the criteria search. So we've covered power searching, we've covered quick searching, and now there's the criteria searching, okay? And that's up in the top toolbar. So this is where you know what your clients are looking for. They have their laundry list of needs when it comes to a home, and you're going to search on those specific sets of criteria that they've given you. We recommend entering in the make or break criteria. When you're in a market such as today, where inventory, is maybe have a month and a half of inventory, it's adjusting a bit. I don't think it's near 2 yet. It's just best, when you're sitting with your client, what's the make or break, right? They may be saying, I want the goldfish pond in the backyard, a swimming pool, or something of that nature. You have to determine and ask them, what's the make or break? And then it's often a good to only enter in the minimum or the maximum. For example, the max price or the min beds. You don't need to put in a like a range. So if they have a price max of 450,000, don't put 400,000, just put the 450,000. And then you click search. We say less criteria equals more results. So remember the big important pieces and then kind of go from there. Never do a search that gets you down to 0 results, right? All right, so I'm going to jump back to Paragon. So the criteria search is second over from the home button here. And it's going to pull up a drop down for other kinds of search options for you. So you got search by class category, you got specialty search category, and you got saved searches. So the specialty searching like mapping is fantastic. We'll go into a bit of mapping, but there's hot sheets and property history, and inventory, and tours and open houses that you could search for. All that's under specialty here. And then if you ever create a search for a client and you save it, you can save it as the address or their name. That'll show up here under saved property searches. Today we're searching by class, and we're going to stick with residential. And it opens up a search tab for residential. Now I'll show you really quick. If I had chosen bare land, it pulls up a bare land tab. There are some differences. Notice, I got fields here. In this case here, I got beds and total baths and home style. But if I click on a bare land search, the form changes. It's going to look different. It doesn't have bathrooms because bare land doesn't have bathrooms, right? So just notice there's slight variations as you go from searching from residential, bare land, multifamily, lease, commercial. All right, so we are in a residential search. I will quickly show you that in a residential search, you've got some tools going on here that are very powerful. One is, in doing a criteria search, it opens up a new set of, I call them sub tabs of a search. So right now we're on the criteria screen. That's why it's highlighted white. We can also do a map search based on the criteria of our client, which I'll get into more. And then once I've put in that information, I can click and hit run search. Notice there's a green button for new search. If you were doing a search and somebody called and wanted you to do a quick search for them, don't kill the search you got going on right now. You've been spending time putting this together for your client. Just click new search, and you can do this up to 3 times. You can have 3 concurrent criteria searches going on at any one time. And I would start a whole new search for that potential client that's currently on the phone. I want to close this with the red X. Go back to my main search here. You have your toolbar. Anything that you do in Paragon will open up a set of tools. Those tools will also change. They're dynamic based on the module that you're working in. Right now, we're in a criteria search, and I have tools like load a save search. Paragon keeps a history of the last 5 searches that you've done. So if you don't have to recreate it, if you did it the other day, go and select it. I'll select this one, for example, and it will load up that search from the other day that I had done. Let me try this one. Yeah, let's try this one. Okay, that one's better. Okay, so I can load last searches. I can customize the fields within this search by clicking customize fields, and there's that familiar window with more options that I could choose to customize my search. I could save this search. I mentioned earlier, you could save it with your client's name, for example, and then later on go back to search, save property searches, and they will be listed here. Here's a cool little feature, open all, close all. If I close all, I call these containers. So we've been looking at the primary search container, but there's a secondary criteria screen and an advanced criteria screen. The secondary includes some advanced criteria. If they're very specific, for example, they want to not live in a development that has an HOA, you would use the features option here. I'll collapse all these containers and I can go find HOA within this list of features. And I would make it that it must not have an HOA fee. And that would become part of my search, and it would exclude any listing that the listing agent listed it as having an HOA. It will exclude those. Schools, for example, you can put in schools. I'll teach you here shortly. I prefer using a map search for schools because a lot of times the listing agent procrastinator just forgot to put in the school names. And so you could be searching in an area for a home and you might be missing out on listings because the listing agent forgot to put the school names in there. I prefer using a map search in that case. And then there's some advanced criteria where you can actually search for words within the public remarks or private remarks or the broker's name or the listing office. If you're looking for homes that are fixer-uppers, you could actually search on words such as fixer-upper, because there's listing agents that do use that terminology within the remarks, and you can find a fixer-upper. So I'll go back to Open All again. And let me talk about some of these fields. We've got the status field. This I pre-populated. You can click on any of these magnifying glasses here. If you don't know what to type into a field, you can select it with that magnifying glass. So I've got active under contract. Let's just say I want to choose all actives to include pre's and deselect pending and deselect sold. I just want active and click save. If I want to remove any of these, there's always a little X here and you can click and remove it. I'll click and remove the shape. So you could put in, I told you earlier, put in that big stuff, right? So city, we'll just go, I got a price range here. Let me move this. They want a minimum of 3 bedrooms. They want a minimum of 3 baths. And I'll deselect this garage, deselect garage. I was doing a comp search earlier. That's what this load save search was. But, put in the big, heavy stuff, the really important stuff. And as you put that in, it will appear in this criteria summary screen. And you can review the summary of it. Okay, we've got active under contracts and bumpables. Actives, we got type residence, city Silverton, price range, and total baths. And while I'm doing that, as I'm refining the search criteria, this count field here will update. And right now we have 11 homes found with this criteria. And then I'll click search. And it will pull up a spreadsheet of those 11 homes. And notice the toolbar changes. I've got some more tools available to me. I got stats available to me now. So the stats on this list of 11 homes is days on market. High is 109, the low 5, and the average is 55. I've got a list price and sold price. Since I'm not doing any sold comps here, I'm just doing homes that are actively listed. Got a high of 599 to a low of 450 with an average of 535 in the median. And I can look at these and let's say I want to sort them. I'm going to sort them by active, and I've got 5 homes that are actively available. I can look at bedrooms, bathrooms, garage capacity, you know, year built, lot square footage, days on market. I think I've probably modified some of these fields over time, but you know, if I needed any other fields for my report, I can go back into that customize and add them. I'll click on revert to default. I'm just going to show you really quick what the default looks like. This is an actual WVMLS default spreadsheet right here. And that's what probably you have seen because you haven't had a chance to customize it. Let's just say I want to add acres. I can click on acres here, hit add. I'll move it next to approximate total square footage and click save. And now I've got acres here. So I mentioned the toolbar. You got a toolbar with more kinds of tools on it. And I can click on, let's just say I am just going to look at actives. I can click on these actives, these 5. And let's just say I want to now just focus on those 5 in my spreadsheet here. If I want to make all the other 6 go away, I can click on checked. And what this check button does, it only selects the homes, the listings that you have a check next to. So I'll click check and boom. Now we just are focusing on the 5 listings that are active. I could turn around and I could email these. I could share these via text. I could save this search. I could print these. I could export them to an Excel spreadsheet. And there's some additional buttons here. Action. If you use Cloud CMA, these are all integrations. So if you have a tool that you use like Zip Forms or Cloud CMA, RPR, actions you can get to your integrations. And then more, I can print this out as a PDF. I can add these to a CMA. I can get driving directions for these 5 listings under this more button. So any questions on the criteria searching? And I could go back to my criteria search button and I could modify this. I could turn around. I'm going to eliminate and just have a high of 600,000 and I've gotten 13 listings. I got a new count. I can click search and now I'm seeing a total of 13 listings and still 5 are active. Questions? Darren, you got a question?
There, yeah, Tom, I had a quick question about one of the terms you use. I just wasn't familiar with the term bumpable. What exactly is an active bumpable property?
That's a property, where they're basically open to other offers, backup contingency offers. So that basically defines bumpable.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wendy's asking, can you send these out as a group to clients? Are you referring to sending this spreadsheet out to all like 13 listings to a single client? Yes, you can do that. And I'll show you here in a moment. All right, let me jump back to my presentation really quick. So I'm going to cover briefly map searching. This is where you can actually draw shapes on a Google map. Let's just say of a neighborhood or a subdivision. And what it does is it refines your search to that area. Okay. So I'll jump back in here. And I've got these 13 listings. Okay. But my client is really looking for a home within the school district that their children go to, right? Well, we talked about the criteria button here. There's a map search button. I click on map search and it will bring up a Google map of the listings, and it's showing the listings here, all these flags. If you start seeing bubbles with numbers in them, that means there's more than one listing really close to one another. And as I zoom in, the bubbles will disappear and they'll turn the flags. I mean, it looks like some of these are just really on top of one another. Yeah. So the map searching, trust me on this one, just spend some time playing around in here, just using it. You'll get to learn it. You got a whole nother set of tools in the toolbar that are available for you. Right now, we're looking at the road view. You can go aerial. You can do a hybrid of road and aerial. Here's my draw tool, polygon, rubber band, radius. I can measure. I have layers. So if I want to see neighborhood boundary lines or postal zip codes, city outlines, floodplain, I can add those layers to the map. Floodplain is a great one. There is a print option. There's you click here and you can see what the different colors of the flags are. So anything that's green is active, for example. And you could put in an address. What a great feature here is that if you've got a client that wants to say stay within 10 miles of their office, you could put in their address here and you can click search, and that will put a flag right on their office. And then you could put in 10 miles, for example, and do a search radius, and it'll search out and just include all listings within 10 miles and exclude those that are outside the 10-mile radius. In this demo, what I want to do is show you how to use it. Let's just say we're going to zoom in here to this. This is the Pioneer subdivision in Silverton. And let's just say there's a school here and the subdivision only covers this area here, okay? I'm going to draw a polygon. Squares and radiuses are really easy, by the way. It's like you just draw a circle. I can draw a rubber band. And in this demo right here, it would only include listings that were within the circle and the rubber band. I can click edit. I'm going to remove these, just hitting the red X. But let's just say I'm going to draw a polygon because the school system encompasses this neighborhood here. I went and got the school district map online. That covers it right there. So now we have a search. This is a map search with the client's criteria. And so any home that meets the criteria is within the polygon. Anything outside the polygon is excluded from the search now. If I go back to my criteria search screen, I just want to point out under search by map, there's shape 1 polygon. There's a polygon now added to the criteria search. I'll go back to map search. And I'm going to now hit run search. Remember before without the polygon, I had 13 listings I found. I'll click run search. And now there's 3 because it excluded the 10 that were outside the polygon. Does everybody get the idea of a map search? It's fun. That one, I love that one. Use the satellite imagery to kind of follow natural boundaries. It's really easy to use. So this is a map search that's part of the criteria search. I just want to show you that you could run a map search right out of the gate. Instead of searching by class residential, I can go to mapping. It'll open up a mapping tab, and I can put in an address, like the work address, for example, and I could start putting in some criteria. and just do a map search right out of the gate, and not even look at anything that's outside the polygon or the radius or the rubber band that I drew on a map. Any questions on map searching? Okay. Oh, something happened to my map search here. Let's go back to my last search. All right. Then jump back to my presentation here. So I've been talking about these multitasking tabs, and they're running along the top, as I mentioned. They're very powerful, allow you to be highly efficient in what you're doing. You don't have to like go and restart something, because once you've opened up a task or a module within Paragon, it remains active until you hit the little X here and shut it down. A little word of wisdom here on this is that Paragon has an activity timeout. If there's no activity for 90 minutes, Paragon automatically logs you out, and you lose your work at that point in time. All those tabs go away. Make sure you've saved any searches that you want to save. I generally recommend, if you got something going really important and you're just go back to your computer once in a while and just move the mouse or do an action, and it resets that timer all over again. There's a built-in back button. Paragon since it's a web-based tool, do not use the browser's back button. Use Paragon's back button. It's red. And sub-tabs in search, very powerful. They're only for certain tasks that you do in Paragon: criteria searching, map searching, run searching. You'll see some additional tabs. Make use of those. So let's talk about emailing listings. So this goes to Wendy's question earlier. You can select listings by clicking that little selection square. And you can click on email, and this will pop up a bunch of options for you, and I'll go through those. You'll be able to choose the report type. Do you want to send it out as a PDF, a collab link, a hyperlink? And about the links, what's great about sending links is they're dynamic. Any changes that happen between when the email is sent and when it is opened, it will show those. So if you send an email in the morning, but they didn't get to open up the email until later in the day, they click on the collab link, for example, it will show the latest status of the homes that you provided. So if any of the homes went under contract during the course of the day, it will reflect that status, okay? If you send a PDF, which is basically like sending a piece of paper, so it will not reflect the latest status. It'll be the status at the point you email it. And I'm going to also show you how to text the listing. It's a fairly new Paragon feature. You select listings by clicking the selection square again, click share and then text. And then you choose the contact, create a new contact, or you enter your client's mobile number. Tip on this here is texting will only work if you took a minute. You got to go into preferences, click your user, and add under mobile account settings. You need to add your mobile number to make that work. So let me jump over to Paragon here really quick. Trying to get a good search here. What happened to my main search? Oh, I'm under Bearland. That's what happened. All right. So here I got my search, my 3 listings, and I can either select this top checkbox and it'll check all, or I can select, I just want to send these 2. Let's select all. And I want to email these. I can click on email. And this is where you select your email type. Collab link will send a link with through the collaboration center feature of Paragon. Will they have a really nice user experience? It has a kind of a look and feel of living in Zillow or Redfin, any of those tools there. I think I got a demo up here. It'll send them something like this, where they'll have a view of the home and they can view the details of each home. And this is all very dynamic to any screen size, mobile, tablet, laptop. If you send a hyperlink, it sends like a client full detail. And it is dynamic in a sense that it's got the latest information, but it just doesn't have that look and feel like Collab share. And then if you send a PDF, Paragon defaults to the client detail. Notice that's kind of a set of training wheels that Paragon built in. It won't send the agent full detail, which has the private remarks. It'll send a client detail that is minus those private remarks. So let's just say I'm going to send a collab link and then select listings. It defaulted to the 3 because I selected 3 over here. Or I could choose current listing. Now, I'll click on the compose email button. And it has a Paragon email here. I can put the 2 in, or I can pull it from my address book. I can BCC myself. I could CCC a partner, a spouse, create a subject listing. I found some listings for you in the Pioneer subdivision. This is the link that when the email is sent, it will have your signature as well as the link that they click on. The link, it's very small in size. That's what's great about links. When they get it, they click on it, and whether they're on a phone or a tablet or a laptop, it will open the default browser on that device. So if you're an iPhone user, it generally opens up Safari, for example. If you're an Android user, it'll open up in Chrome. And then, I highly recommend, generally is like, you might have some boilerplate templated language you like to use. You can copy and paste it in there. You can reiterate the criteria that you used, that you wanted to be in Silverton, minimum of, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, list that out on the email, and then click send. If you want to send these out as a text, click share and text. And you can go grab a contact. You could also add a new one. But if your contacts in your contacts of Paragon, you'll find them like I just did, and it'll bring up the mobile number. And I have to click the checkbox and then click send message. And within seconds, yeah, it just came through on my phone. And it says Tom Lasana shared property listings with you, and it provides a Paragon hyperlink to click on. I click on it, and then it'll open up Collaboration Center. If you want to share a link using your email client, so let's just say you're a Yahoo user, or your brokerage has their own CRM, or you're an Outlook user, you use Apple Mail, whatever, and you don't want to email out of Paragon, you want to use your email client, come over here to share, collab share link, click on it. And here's a link to these 3 listings. And I click copy link. And now I'll give you a little demo of this. This is easy enough to do. I'll go grab a new email. So here's an email. I can put in my client's email address, subject, hit Control V, and there you go. And that link, I can test it out right now to show you. I can click on it. It'll open up Collaboration Center. And here's those 3 homes. And this looks great on any screen size. It's like I can turn around and like zoom in. I think I can zoom in. If I zoom in, this is kind of like what it would look like, you know, on a phone. So that's how you share the link. It's a great way to do it. All right, so let me jump back to my presentation here. So we covered emailing and texting. Let's talk a little bit about saving and why, Tom, why is saving important? OREA dictates that you, I know I'm running a little long here, my apologies. If any of you need to drop off, you'll get a copy of a video tomorrow via email along with the class materials and handouts. So, but you know, with saving, with OREA, you're required to save documentation for a period of 6 years. So, and that includes listings. So any listings that you show, you need to save. And that's simply done by clicking that more button and then PDF. And you can click on the download button. And I'll show you that here. Let's jump into Paragon. So let's just say I got these 3 listings and I want to save these to PDF. I click more, PDF. And Paragon just rendered it from HTML into PDF format. And here's now a spreadsheet of those 3 homes. I can click the print button here and print it out and put it in a file folder. Or I can click the download button and you will get your Windows screen here that pops up, and I can go change, you know, click on, I got clients here, clients, and I'm going to save this under Bucky Barnes. And save it. So great idea. There you go. Now you've just complied with OREA guidelines about saving listings that you showed. I'm going to render this back to HTML just to show you. I want to deselect these. I'm going to click on just this listing. So here's the detail. I'm going to save. This is the only one I showed my client. I can click on PDF again. It renders it in PDF. And I can now download and save this into my clients folder. Notice that red back button. So if I want to go back, I'm looking in a client detail. If I want to go back, don't hit this back button in your browser, click the red back button to go back. Also want to show you some additional tools here. We've got 3 listings that we're looking at. If I want to go side by side and click through the 3, here's listing 2, here's listing 3, and I can go back to the beginning, or I can click the back button and go back to my spreadsheet. Any questions on printing or saving? You can print those listings by just hitting the print button here. No questions there? Okay. And I'm going to cover reports here really quick. Reports are on the right-hand side, and they are right here, the green reports button. We're looking at a standard spreadsheet view right now, but if I want to view these listings in a different format, I can click reports, and it opens up a tree. You have your favorites, there's spreadsheets available to you, details, multi-ops, specialty views, CMAs and reports. I got a bunch of favorites, like I can look at these 3 homes in a Google map. So these are the 3 listings in a Google map. I can look at these. Let's go to multi-ops, and I want to look at, I know there's only 3, but I want to look at them 6 at a page. So just spend some time spelunking through these reports and find reports that work for you and would help you in your marketing efforts. Here's a full detail. All right. That pretty much wraps it up. You know, it's just practice. It's just getting in there and doing searches for yourself. You know, talk to your neighbors, you know, have them give you some criteria to look for and do some searches for your neighbors and friends. Just ultimately get really comfortable with the process. I mean, once you've done, you know, half a dozen to a dozen searches, it gets easier and easier. We're here for you to help you with questions that you have. Feel free to give us a call and ask for John or Carly or Tom. We're all part of the tech team here. I also recommend the other classes that we offer here, Contact Manager and Collab Center. That's where you can set up clients up for auto notifications for saved searches. It's a great tool. If you're new to our lockboxes, we have our Super 101 class. I do a Tom's Tips and Tricks. And then we're revamping our CMAs. We're going to be doing about 3 different CMA type classes, from everything from doing a ballpark CMA. We're going to do a class next month on doing a CMA presentation, and then we'll have an advanced CMA. For any of you that are new, I would probably do that CMA presentation one first. And then Paragon Connect. That's a great tool. It's basically Paragon for your mobile devices. So come to that class. And then self-paced training. As I mentioned earlier, you can do a lot of self-guided training here using the help button at the top of the Paragon home screen there, and diving in a little deeper into searching, for example, today, which we had a heavy focus on. And I think that wraps it up. So I'm open to any questions. You're welcome, Martha. I'm glad you came. All right. Well, hopefully I got you going and you can start getting going in Paragon 101 and start doing those searches. So like I said, don't hesitate to give us a call if you have any issues, or shoot me an email at tom@wvmls.com. Be happy to help you. Thank you, and have a great day, everyone.